My boyfriend made me wait for 2 hours at an expensive restaurant for our anniversary. When he finally arrived, he wasn't alone. He walked in with 4 of his friends, all of them already buzzed and laughing. He came over to my table, looked at his friends, and said loudly, "See? Told you she'd still be here." Like a pathetic puppy. They all burst out laughing. We'd been together for 3 years. I had just paid off his car loan the week before. I simply smiled and ordered another drink. This morning, my phone showed 78 missed calls. His belongings are now in garbage bags at the dump. I met Randy 3 years ago under what I now see as suspicious circumstances. My apartment flooded because my upstairs neighbor left their bathtub running. Randy was the plumber assigned to fix the damage. He kept finding new problems every time he visited, which stretched the repairs out for weeks. At the time, I thought it was cute, a sign he wanted to see more of me. Now, I wonder if he was sabotaging my pipes. Back then, I found it surprisingly easy to talk to him, which is rare for me. We moved in together after 8 months, which was too fast, but his lease was ending, and it made financial sense. That was my first mistake. Randy worked as a plumber, but never held a job for long. He was either fired for being late or quit because his bosses were idiots who didn't appreciate him. This was a red flag I chose to ignore. He would send me long, angry voice messages on Telegram, ranting about his bosses and even his parents, calling them pathetic failures when they wouldn't give him money. For some reason, I saved these messages in a favorites folder. Maybe a part of me knew they would be important someday. By year 2, I was covering most of our expenses. My job is stable, and I kept telling myself that relationships are about balance. Randy always promised he was just one break away from turning things around. 6 months ago, his car, a 2015 Mustang he couldn't afford, broke down. He was devastated, so I, like a fool, offered to take over the payments. I ended up paying the entire $386 a month loan, a huge stretch for my budget. I just wanted to be supportive. I thought I was investing in our future. Last night was our 3-year anniversary. I had just made the final car payment. I booked a table at a posh downtown restaurant we could never afford, meaning I could never afford to pay for both of us. I arrived at 7 p.m. By 7:30, he texted saying he was running late. By 8 p.m., my calls were going straight to voicemail. The waitress kept giving me pitying looks. At 8:45, he finally swaggered in with his friends. He strode over to the table and delivered his pathetic puppy line. His friend Jake chimed in. "Damn, you weren't kidding. She's trained good." Randy sat down, squeezed my cheeks, and said, "This is why she's the best. Most chicks would have stormed out, but my C, she pays my bills and waits around like a good girl." He looked at me with a smirk. "What? Did you think this was a romantic dinner? That's adorable. We have a poker game. I just needed to make sure you were good for the next payment first." I couldn't breathe. 3 years, $12,000 on his car. This is what he thought of me. When the server came, I smiled and ordered another wine. After it arrived, I excused myself to the restroom. Staring at my reflection, I wasn't crying or angry. I was just done. I texted my friend Emma for a pickup. On my way out, I quietly paid only for my drinks and told the server the gentleman would cover the rest. In Emma's car, I blocked his number. But I wasn't finished. I had a plan. I had access to his digital life from years of helping him with tech issues. I scrolled through my saved Telegram folder, filled with his vile rants about his boss and parents. I also discovered emails between him and his friends, planning my humiliation for days. It was all a calculated joke to them. This morning, I went to work. First, I called the bank, canceled the final car payment, and reported it as fraud, providing evidence of his manipulation. Then, from a temporary account, I forwarded the voice messages of him trashing his boss directly to his boss, and the ones insulting his parents straight to them. I didn't add any commentary. I let his own words do the talking. I canceled all our shared subscriptions, changed all my passwords, and began packing his things into garbage bags. He showed up at my door with flowers, yelling and pleading. I didn't answer. By the afternoon, the fallout began. His boss had heard the messages and put him on probation. His parents were hysterical. He started frantically texting, saying I'd ruined his life over a joke. This morning, Emma and I loaded his 15 garbage bags of belongings into her brother's truck and drove them to the local dump. Watching a garbage truck compact his designer clothes and prized possessions was deeply therapeutic. As we drove away, he called from an unknown number, screaming that his car had been repossessed. He needed his stuff for work. Too late, Randy. Far too late. I'm back in my apartment now. It feels empty but peaceful. I know some might think my revenge was extreme, but after 3 years of being his doormat, it felt like justice. The dominoes are still falling. His friend Jake is blowing up my phone, and the girl from his work, Amber, is confused about why he's being so distant. This isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning of the fallout, and I'll be here to see every second of it. First update. So many of you asked for an update. Here's what happened after I left the restaurant. After Emma picked me up, I was in a state of calm shock. When we got to my apartment, I finally broke down into ugly, mascara-streaked tears. Emma sat with me, brought ice cream, and let me vent for hours. Around midnight, Randy's text started. They shifted from angry, "Where the hell did you go?" to fake concerned, "Are you okay?" to classic gaslighting, "You're overreacting to a joke." I didn't reply. Instead, I made a list of all his accounts I had access to: email, Instagram, iCloud, banking, Spotify, Netflix. He'd given me all the passwords himself. The next morning, I called the bank and successfully reversed the car payment, citing fraud. Randy called 15 times, leaving increasingly desperate voicemails. Then, I delved deeper into his accounts. I found the smoking gun, messages with his friends planning the entire restaurant humiliation for days. It got worse. I found flirty emails with a coworker named Amber. And in his Google Drive, a recording of him and Jake laughing about how I was his sugar mama and he was just keeping me around until something better came along. I was shaking. I made a new list. 1. Send voice clips to his boss and parents. 2. Cancel all shared subscriptions. 3. Pack his stuff. 4. Change my passwords. I sent the clips via a temporary Telegram account. His boss called him in for a meeting that didn't go well. His parents were heartbroken. While I was packing his things into garbage bags, he showed up at my door. I didn't answer. He slid a pathetic note underneath. "We need to talk. I'm sorry about last night. It was supposed to be a joke." A joke. Right. I finished packing, 15 bags in total. Just as I was done, I got an email. The bank had approved the payment reversal. The money was coming back to me. I did a happy dance in my living room. Immediately, Randy texted, "Why is there a tow truck taking my car?" I just smiled. That evening, my phone exploded. His boss had put him on probation. His parents weren't speaking to him. He texted, oscillating between begging and threatening legal action. I slept at Emma's that night. The next morning, we loaded his 15 garbage bags into a truck and drove them to the dump. Watching it all get crushed was therapeutic. As we drove back, he called from a new number, screaming that his car was gone and he needed his stuff. Too late, Randy, I thought. I'm back home now. The apartment is mine again. The dominoes are still falling. Jake is sending angry texts, and Amber is apparently confused. More to come. Second update. It's been a week since the dump trip, and the fallout continues. I woke up to Randy scratching at my door and sliding notes underneath. He looked wrecked. The notes pleaded and threatened in equal measure. I collected them as evidence and ignored him. I got a voicemail from his mom. She thanked me for opening her eyes and said she was ashamed of the son she'd raised. His friend Jake showed up, claiming he was never at the restaurant and that my revenge game had gone too far. My doorbell camera, however, proved he was lying. I checked my bank account. The car payment refund had processed. I did a happy dance on the sidewalk. A mutual friend, Damon, contacted me, confused. Randy had told everyone I was a psycho who hacked his accounts and stole from him. I called Damon and told him the whole unvarnished truth. He was horrified and apologized, realizing Randy had been lying to their entire friend group for months. I deep-cleaned my apartment, threw out our old sheets, and rearranged the furniture. It finally started to feel like my space again. Then, I got an email from HR at Randy's company. They were investigating him and asked for information. I forwarded the voice messages he had sent me. Shortly after, Randy posted cryptically about unemployment. Draw your own conclusions. At the grocery store, I ran into his mom. She was kind and apologetic, She revealed that she and Randy's dad had co-signed his car loan, and he had been taking money from them too. I've since changed my number in all my social media. The final closure came, a letter from the loan company confirming the car had been repossessed and the loan terminated due to fraud. They included a photo of the Mustang being towed. Emma asked if I felt bad. I thought about it. No, not even a little. Randy spent 3 years taking my money, time, and self-esteem. All I did was use his own words and actions to show everyone who he truly is. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Final update. It's been 6 months, and I'm finally ready for a closure post. I moved to a new, cuter apartment across town. I also got a cat, a sassy tortoiseshell named Kami who is my soulmate. I've been saving the money that once went to Randy's car and am planning a solo trip to Portland. As for Randy, he lost his job completely, had a meltdown, and was kicked out of his parents' house. He's now couch surfing with a dwindling circle of friends. His car was sold at auction for less than the loan value, so he's still in debt for a car he doesn't own. He tried to blame me legally, but his own lawyer told him he had no case. He's now in a toxic on-again, off-again relationship with Amber from his work. His brother even had the audacity to ask me out, which I promptly declined. I tallied up what I spent on him over 3 years. Over $30,000. That's a life-changing amount of money I wasted on someone who saw me as a pathetic puppy. Some still say I went too far. I disagree. I didn't get him fired. His own words did. I didn't turn his parents against him. His own cruelty did. My closure wasn't in the revenge. It was in walking out of that restaurant and deciding I deserved better. So, if you take anything from my story, let it be this. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And if they ever call you a pathetic puppy, be prepared to send their entire life to the dump, figuratively, or in my case, quite literally.